look on. I can't even remember what it is. I look on whatever the next week's comics is, League of Friends or whatever. And when not League of Friends, that's a game or something.
Is this one of your other YouTube channels?
League of Boobies. So I look on that, and when I cut it down to look at the Mummy covers, this wasn't featured on there. So it didn't actually come up as being available next week.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Yeah, you're right.
So it must be a website exclusive or something. But that's why I never even registered this one. You know?
It is. It's a website exclusive, which is interesting because I almost thought that League of Gentlemen or whatever the website's called actually showed you the store exclusives.
It does normally, but unless this isn't out next week or this week or whatever, maybe it's, I don't know. But it wasn't featured for Mummy #1 that I saw.
So if it's out next week, then this can't be included in this week's vote, can it?
Oh, controversial!
It was released today or yesterday.
Not this cover, Andy.
But you know, League of Comic Book Geeks is the official. It's so true. I mean, we could just ask Arthur Adams.
Am I disqualified? Is that what I'm hearing here?
No.
Second show back, one of us kicked out already.
I'm just saying. Are we bending the rules already?
We've got to have rules, Charlie. There's got to be rules. That's all I'm saying.
This is like the blank cover gate. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, I apologise. I'm out. Right, I'm officially stepping back from this competition. Let's look at these other two covers.
But it leads in because what you've done leads into the thing that you'll do bad things, and you have. You did.
You will do bad things. You will. So this is my pick. You'll do bad things. I absolutely love this cover. I love the paint. Andy, I'm going to ask you. When I first saw this, I thought this was Jock, and I don't know why. I think it's the mouth and the colour work around the eyes, not the hands, perhaps. But I don't know. I just got that kind of Jock feel from it. I love the use of the knife. I love the zipper being opened and the teeth exposed and everything. We often talk, don't we, about if you're in a comic shop and you saw a cover, what makes you pick the book up? Because of my sick nature. This absolutely makes me want to read this comic. I think this will be tremendous. Love the use of colour work. I think it's great.
It is. It's a fantastic cover. I would have loved. Now I've not actually seen the cover, but if it was like a die cut cover, and it was just a knife that you see through, and you open it up, and then it's got the picture of the person behind it.
You as a Jock connoisseur, do you see what I say about the mouth area? That it reminds us of some of the Joker covers he's done.
Yeah, definitely. Who is the is it Gigi Cavanago is the cover artist? Yeah, I must check out their other stuff because it does have a bit of a Jock feel about it.
Yeah, nice.
I think it's a great cover. I do like what you said. Why have you not gone into publishing or something? You could have done that. That would have been wicked. If that was just you literally lift that off and it was just a knife and she's got different eyes. Maybe her eyes are missing underneath.
Can I just check? Is this comic out this week or is it next?
Yes, because I am a good boy. I follow the rules.
Yes. James has said, I remember on the last show you guys talked about excluding store exclusives. That we spoke about that in 2024, I think in November when we last did the show, other than last week. So things change. Do you know what I mean? Like things have changed there. But good memory.
We cared back then. I think we just don't care anymore. We're just doing what we like.
Yeah, who gives a shit? So on that, I've gone for a John Jang variant cover of Batman 158. Now, honestly, this comic was getting a bit of a big push because obviously it's Hush is back. Jim Lee, he's back doing this, and it's got me back into Batman. I switched off literally, I think Batman 134 or something when Chip Zdarsky was writing it. I think he's still writing it other than this issue, but this is awesome. This one, I like this.
Class. I did get the typical John Jang vibes that I'd seen it before. And I tend to get a lot of that obviously with John's stuff, but this one in particular, it feels like it's very reminiscent of something that we have seen before. I'm not entirely sure what it is.
I think in the original Hush run, we had a Jim Lee version of this. I think this is correct us in the chat. If Fuzzy's here, he's normally good with this kind of stuff. I think this might be a homage like that. I think this might be a homage to an earlier cover, which is quite similar to this, of the Hush and the Batman kind of faces melding.
I think you are correct.
I mean, that doesn't take away from the fact, Charlie, I think this is a cracking cover. I love it.
Well, from what I've seen, is, from what I've just found, is if I go to here.
James Breen, I think, has hit the nail on the head for me. I think it's
this one. Is it this one? Pete, is it this one?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
That's kind of like a homage to that one, I think. Yeah. But yeah, that one. But yeah, that's the one.
James Breen says it's Deceased as well. I think that's where I think I've seen it from.
Yes, it is. Yes, yeah. But
it's a great cover, but I like it.
It's awesome. I like the fact that obviously
it's out this week. So.
It is out this week. It is out this week. Batman 158. So yeah, that's what I've gone for. Is it out this week or is it out next week? Either way, as Andy said, we don't give a shit anymore. We kind of just pick what we like, do what we like, and then that's it. So I've started the poll: winner, chicken dinner. Whoever wants to win. Obviously, no one gets fuck all these days. So that's it. That's how we're doing it. So yeah,
that's how we rock. That's how we rock.
Nice, Jang, but ain't it just like all of his other covers? Yeah, we said that about 5 comments above, mate. So yeah, they're all the same, but awesome. It is awesome. So yeah,
I love the way that Charlie's having a go at the chat now. For being engaging.
One can of special brew and he's ready to fight the chat. Look at him.
It's actually non-alcoholic Heineken.
Is it?
Yeah. So this is the attitude's real.
This is 100% Charlie.
100% real. So yeah, on that note, so we've done the covers. Yep. Now we're over to the reviews. Yeah, I read this. This was good. This was good. I enjoyed it. This was The Last Boy by Dan Panosian. This came out last week, I think it was. I think it came out last week. It's been Dan kind of does these childhood. What's it called? What's the
You lost your what's that non-alcoholic drink done to your brain?
Charlie, you okay?
No, I'm not.
Do you need? Do we need to have a 5-minute timeout? Do we need to just chill?
Give me a time. Give me a time. So anyway, on to the review. So this is Last Boy. This came out last week, written by Dan Panosian. He's done the covers as well, but he hasn't done the majority of the art in this, like he did with Alice in Wonderland and Alice Ever After and stuff. He kind of did the London-based imagery and art and everything. This one he hasn't. He's done the writing, and I don't know if any of you guys read it or anyone else in the chat has read it, but it was pretty enjoyable. It's literally just telling the story of Peter Pan from him, and it's got all the Lost Boys and the crocodile attacks, and then you've got Hook and stuff like that. But what I really like about this is that it looks like Dustin Hoffman as Hook. It looks like the Dustin Hoffman Hook. Yeah. But I think obviously after one issue, it's interesting and stuff, but I can see this turning pretty dark. And I don't know what way the story is going to go. I don't know if they're going to tell the story of Peter Pan, or they're going to tell it of the Lost Boys, or they're going to tell how he became Peter Pan and lost everything. But it's pretty impressive. Like, obviously, everyone knows I'm a big fan of Dan Panosian. So when he kind of wrote this, I was interested to see what it's like. Is he one of them?
As well, Charlie?
Yeah. So we did this cover, but I can't remember who the artist is for the interiors. But I didn't like the art as much as I thought I would do.
Okay.
Right.
But it was a good read.
There's a mini series, Charlie.
Yeah, I think it's like 3 or 4 issues.
Okay.
I mean, it's Peter Pan. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Peter Pan as a story. I like. There used to be a show. I can't remember what it was called, Ever After or something, like a storybook or something, where all the kind of the fairy tale characters were in the real world, as it were. And they did a really good take on Peter Pan, kind of what happened to him after Neverland and stuff. So I'm into that kind of stuff. I'll probably read this in trade paperback, I think. If I hear good things about it, if you feedback that it's a decent read, I'll probably pick this up and read it in one go.
I just don't know if this is... I mean, it's wicked. And if you go on to Dan's Instagram, you can see like the black and white sketches and stuff, and he's kind of zoomed in on some of them. But I can't work out if... You know, like for Alice Ever After, it kind of told the story of where she was now and how she kind of got over it and stuff, and she was dealing with her troubles. I don't know if this story is going to tell the way of how Peter Pan became Peter Pan and where he is now and stuff. But it's interesting. It's really, really good. So I would advise to give it a read if you're into the adult versions of children classics. There we go, adult versions of children classics. There you go. So
you'll need to let us know next time what you're reading so that we can swat up and have some input, because I missed this one. I didn't even know it was coming out, to be honest.
I didn't. I only read it today. Because I read the one that you picked, and then I see this, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to pick the same as that. I'm going to read this one. So after that, there we go.
Cool.
So I've gone for The Deviant, number
5 months.
Number 9, yeah. I know this was out. It's either last week or the week before, I think. So I'm hoping by now people will have read it. This is the conclusion of the story by James Tynion, which feels like it started friggin' years ago. The story for me has been hampered by the delay between issue 8 and 9, which I think is unforgivable. For these, I mean, we've talked about this before, guys, haven't we? It's unforgivable for some of these big name publishers and things like that. And I think it really does harm the story a little bit. So that said, I sadly didn't take Fuzzy's advice, because Fuzzy told us that I should go back and reread the last 8 issues. I just didn't have time, and I didn't want to wait before reading this. So I went in and read it. That said, I think I still enjoyed it. I understood what was happening. I will go back when this comes out in trade paperback and read it as a complete kind of story in one sitting, no doubt. I loved it. I absolutely love this story. It's not in your face. It's not action-packed. Do you know what I mean? Each comics, you kind of sometimes expect there needs to be like a big scene in each comic or whatever. This series hasn't really gone for that. It's just told a really intelligent, really intriguing story that's kept me hooked. We'll get a resolution to the story, but I do think it leaves it a little bit unclear as to what not with who the killer is in our timeline, but going back and looking at the full story in terms of the guy who's in prison. I'm still not convinced it gives a conclusive answer as to did he or didn't he do the murders. Yeah, it heavily hints at stuff and it leaves you guessing. I've spoke to I think Andy about this. I've spoke to Fuzzy about this, and it's fair to say different people have different thoughts and different views of how they've interpreted the end of the story, which I absolutely love. I love the fact that this tale can potentially mean something totally different for everybody that reads it. You know. So yeah, great story. If you like your horror, it's not even, but I classify it as horror. It has got some gruesome scenes in it, but it's more of a crime story, I think.
Yeah, it's like a crime drama, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Do you know what I took from this? Do you know the film Saw, Jigsaw?
Yeah.
At the end of the comic, I really got the thought that he was kind of like the Jigsaw, like the John Kramer, and he was kind of manipulating. Subtly manipulating the copper to carry out, and he was just like dropping subliminal hint like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, and he was kind of just carrying it out. So he was kind of living his fantasy of wanting to be the killer through the actual killer. I thought
and I think that's what some other people kind of picked up on that as well, that he'd influenced, or I think the word used was groomed, the prison guard into doing some of this stuff. But again, you can definitely read it that way. But I also think you can read it from a more sympathetic way and think that this was just totally unrelated, you know, and I don't know. It left us thinking this was a great story. Love to see this as a little mini series or something like that. I think it would be great. Andy, have you read this? You're up to date with it, aren't you?
Yeah, I jumped into this one. I was really looking forward to this one again because we've been waiting so long for it to come out. I think I would have definitely benefited from going back and rereading the 8 issues, to be fair. And I think, like you were saying there, I look forward to it coming out as a sort of trade paperback and a nice hardback cover, because it's definitely one that I would enjoy going back and maybe just, I feel as if I've missed lots of things, but it's probably just because of the gap in time that my brain's kind of have forgotten a lot about it. I would say that this issue is a sort of as just a standalone issue was a decent story, and it was good, and it would have made you want to go back and read those other 8 issues. And there's lots of sort of social commentary within the 9 issues. It has to be said, about a few different things which I found really interesting. But yeah, like you were saying, the fact that James Tynion left it open to interpretation means that everybody will get a different thing from it, which I think is a really difficult thing to do in comics. And I think he really nailed it with this one.
Absolutely. I think, Charlie, for me, I know you're a massive horror fan, and there's certain icons of horror. Do you know what I mean? The Freddy's and all that kind of stuff. I think the design of this guy, the Santa with the mask and the axe, is spot on. It's up there with your Terrifiers and all that kind of stuff.
I was going to say that. It reminded me when he attacked us. I think it's especially when the girl's making the masks and she turns around and he's there. I was like, this is this is the Terrifier. He's definitely taken elements of everyone's favourite villain and horror. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was a great issue. It's just the fact that we had to wait 5 months for it.
Yeah.
Like 5 months. Like Deadman's just said, I only realised today that I hadn't read number 8 of Canny Valley. Number 7 came out in December. 8 is out now, and 9 is not out until late May. Like, is this like the way it's going now, that they're going to try and keep people on tender hooks by waiting 3 or 4 months until a comic comes out? Like, I totally switched off after issue number 4 because I was like, I think it was like a month and a half before that one came out.
See, I honestly think for the big companies, and you know, we're talking about Batman as well. That I keep forgetting the name of it, whatever that mini-series is. Yeah. For a flagship title like Batman, it's totally unforgivable to not have your story coming out on time. Me and Fuzzy were chatting the other day, and I know we've talked about Distillery in the past and things like that. And Andy, you might know, I couldn't tell you which series it is, but he was saying that out of a 4-part series or something like that, they got 2 issues out and then just decided we're not going to put it anymore out. If you want to read the end of the story, you've got to buy the trade paperback, which will contain 4 issues. That kind of stuff, for me, is just atrocious. You can't treat customers like that in any other business. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm moaning. I'm a miserable old git. It just winds us up.
Does it push you towards going down just the hardcovers and trade?
100%.
And I think it absolutely has.
Stop buying single issues.
Yeah. If I'm being really honest, that has, but also the fact that because of my age, dare I say, I struggle now with monthly books. I forget.
I thought you were going to see your eyesight.
You know, well, my eyesight as well. Yeah, but I read that much in between. It takes us ages to catch up. So I'd rather read a chunk of story or a complete story in one go than read a story over a 12-month period. That just bores the tits off.
I find it more enjoyable. Like, I just feel if I'm reading a trade paperback, I know I can just flow. I haven't got to get to the end and think, 15 issues. Do you know what I mean? I think, but there are 100%, Andy. I'm literally turning towards trade paperbacks now, and I think even when they're coming out weekly, I'm just letting them build up and up and up, and then I'm just reading them anyway.
Some good comments actually about all this, Charlie.
Loads. Radio Apocalypse never finished. Never ever finished. And that was meant to be good because Andy, with his golden hands, Ram V. I remember, Andy, what was that? It was about 2023, wasn't it, when you managed to get me that in
it must have been
9.8. But that book had such good stuff that it was like every time you read it, if you listen to the tune it's playing in it, you get a kind of different feeling from when reading the book. 2 issues in, I was like, okay, where's issue number 3? Where's issue number 4? I honestly can't remember if they came out or it just literally didn't finish.
Yeah.
Because I just don't.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, James said publishers, writers are killing the comic book industry with delays. AI wouldn't do this. Robots wouldn't. There we go. The last volume of Supergirl did that. The last 2 issues were either online or the trade. Ridiculous. They're giving us reasons not to buy floppies. Yeah, it's true. A story should be complete, then released weekly or bi-weekly.
Absolutely
there we go.
Agree. Particularly
like
if it's a mini-series or a short. Do you know what I mean? Ongoing. But if it's a 6-parter or something like that, there's no reason it shouldn't be complete.
There we go. White Boat, Fuzzy, delayed again until July, I believe.
And that was a decent story. That was Snyder. And the first issue was fantastic. Yeah.
Fuzzy's commenting there as well. This winds us up. You won't feel a thing. Andy, you read that? Did you guys read that?
Yeah.
Jock artwork, I believe, was it? Yeah. Great storyline. One of the first times I've read a Distillery book and thought, do you know what, this is for me. This is really, really hitting the mark. It's disappeared. You know, it's delayed again. It's like, man?
Yeah. Absolute joke. So,
God, we're a miserable bunch, aren't we? We've turned this show into a real laugh fest.
No, but it's true. We're talking about comics and how comics are affecting it, and they're affecting everyone because they're not fucking bringing them out on time.
Yeah.
Like, Do you know what I mean? If you get really involved in a conference, oh yeah, I can't wait for next week. Oh, sorry, it's been cancelled until August.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. Another comment, James. Even on going through Marvel, DC should be able to plan to 3 arcs build up, and that's one release, and no one is competing. That's the way you should be able to do it. That's the way you should be able to do it. They should have a cheek to say support your LCS comical. It is indeed. So on that, Deviant. Awesome.
Out of Alcatraz, issue number 1. What a story, first and foremost. I'm trying not to say the same thing as I said on Tuesday, but I'm going to find that a bit challenging. So I know that this was a story that I'd shared with Peter. I thought was going to be fantastic, and I know Fuzzy's read it as well and thought it was great. I had my concerns when I first went into this because I thought it was just going to be like, everybody knows about the story of Alcatraz and the guys escaping, but I thought it was just going to be like a retelling of that in comic format. You might remember, I think I mentioned Tuesday, Blue Book. That was kind of a retelling, but it was actual word for word of what happened. There wasn't any sort of tangents in it. This book was completely different. This obviously follows the story of the guys that dare I say, successfully made it across the water from Alcatraz. But it shows you their sort of life afterwards, where they sort of meet this woman who kind of is like their handler, and it looks as if that she's sort of wheeling and dealing some deal for payback for them getting to escape from Alcatraz. And it kind of shows you how they're dealing with the fact that they've escaped from prison, but they then go straight into a town that feels like a prison, into a house that they're not allowed to leave. But then they do decide to leave. And it shows you the fact that, years in Alcatraz has its impacts. And one of the guys absolutely goes for, I think he was a sheriff in the town, beats the living hell out of him. And we get to the end of the story where there's a complete cliffhanger. And this is what completely sold this story to me and made me want more. And it's been a long time since I've read a comic where I'm really looking forward to issue 2. But this was one of them. I won't spoil it for you, but I would say that this is definitely worth picking up, and I can't wait for issue number 2.
I loved it, mate. And you know what? I think is it called Stockholm Syndrome, where if people get kidnapped, they end up falling in love and they end up respecting their kidnapper. This, for me, was kind of like that. They'd got out of Alcatraz and they was kind of like, actually, we've gone into this place that isn't actually that. We want to go back to how it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like the grass isn't always greener. But the cliffhanger it ended on, I thought it was a fucking great story. And this was, I'm glad you picked this. And when you announced it on the chat, it was like, give this a read. I was like, oh yeah, why not? It's something out of the ordinary for me. Loved it. Thought it was fucking wicked.
I just noticed. Love this. Sorry,
I was just looking. No, I was just going to say, Peter. Looking at the cover, I've noticed that you've got Alcatraz
upside down, yeah.
You've got the town, so it's like a reflection. So the two of them are similar. The town's a prison to those guys. I thought that was pretty cool. Sorry, Peter.
No, I never noticed that. That's really, really cool. I love this. I really enjoyed it. I love the historical kind of stories anyway. I just want to pay, homage, I guess, to Tyler Crook, who's done the artwork. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful art. I love his style. Fuzzy in the comments is saying the watercolors are sublime. I just wanted to mention this. I don't know if you guys have read Harrow County. No, so I've got 2 volumes of this. This is by Tyler Crook. Sorry, artwork by Tyler Crook. It's by Cullen Bunn. But the artwork in this is just absolutely amazing. By the same guy, same style, all watercolors. I'd really recommend 2 volumes of this. Really worth reading. I've actually got 2 spare volumes, so I'll give them away at some point. But yeah, it's really cool story.
The water, I don't know if you like, whenever the first few pages when they're obviously escaping, they're in San Francisco Bay, you felt as if you were in the water. That's how well it was done by Tyler. So yeah, that's all.
There's only one story that I felt, as you said, like I felt I was actually involved in, and that was the Sea of Sorrows. With the Sea of Sorrows, because that was another good one where it was kind of like, I actually feel like you could feel yourself going through this. And I think obviously people have tried to escape from Alcatraz, and it was good to see how it came out at the other end. And it was really well done, because you mentioned Blue Book. That was literally like reading a memorandum of what happened minute by minute.
It was so funny because I happened to look up like Wikipedia and do a bit of googling to see about the story, and literally the story was like for like. I didn't end up finishing because I felt as if, well, I already know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Unless it took a massive turn and it went and used their imagination, then I maybe missed out. But again, I'm looking at that cover and I'm finding loads of things like the top or the little white figure is getting chased or is chasing the black figure, so is he like running away from himself sort of thing? Like maybe I'm overthinking it. I probably am.
No, but that figure, that reminds me of a Alfred Hitchcock film, and I can't remember what it's called. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I cannot remember.
He's on a clock face, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. And he's run. Yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, there's so many things in there, and it's it's wicked. Good choice, mate. Good choice.
Yeah.
Is just out of interest, is the cover artist the same artist? Is it Tyler Crook? Because I don't know. It looks his character work on the cover's not as
like more defined, isn't it? It's it's almost like it's like a horror movie poster.
I guess that's what I'm thinking. The faces and things don't look like he's got quite a distinct cartoony style. Do you know, like a Tintin almost style to his characters. I think that's a Dead Man North by Northwest.
That's it. That's the one. Yes. That's it. Yeah.
Fuzzy Scene is a homage to that film.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that Harrow County, I'll give that a read. Pete.
It's good. It's a great story.
There's another one I can't remember that's been going on for ages. I don't know who wrote it, but it's similar. It's done by Image, and it's like one that's been going on for ages and ages. Not Harrow County. It's what are they called? It's the two brothers. Is it Jacob and Thingy Phillips? They've done a book, and I can't remember what it's called.
Criminal or anything? Or?
No, I think it's like set in.
No,
it's kind of set in like a western. But it's been going on for ages. But I won't bore you with that because I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. So anyway,
welcome to the Killer Comic Show.
Welcome. So it's 33 minutes. But yes, ever been to Alcatraz? Really great place to visit.
No, I'd like to.
Never been there.
Yep,
it's a homage cover. Fuzzy has said Christopher Cantwell was behind the TV show Halt and Catch Fire. He knows how to write quality work. And then we've got Dead Man has said, back down, I'm waiting for number 4 before I read number 3. Probably be around my 70th birthday going for number 3 though. And really enjoyed Alcatraz. Let's hope it comes out properly. Here we go. How many issues is this, Andy?
I have no idea. I'm going to guess 4 or 6.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Maybe 5. Maybe 3.
Also, that figure and shadow reminds me of the starting titles of Land of the Giants. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Is it Land of the Giants or Land of the Lost? I can't remember which one it is, but I remember watching that when I was younger. Yeah,
it was good. So, should we have a quick look at the votes? So we have in last place is that's interesting. The Mummy by Scotty Young. 22%.
Okay, I know it came out last, or it's out next week, guys. Calm down. Chill
in second place, you've got You'll Do Bad Things with 33%, and in first place is Batman with 44% of the votes. Interesting. Interesting. Talking about interesting. Peter.
Dun dun dun. Bit of news for her. So this was interesting.
Have you got control of the slides?
I have control. This all kicked off yesterday. This was Marvel's announcement of all of the, not all of, some of the casting for Avengers Doomsday. Now I've put Yawn on there because did any of you watch it? I'm not talking yet about the final cast and stuff.
Was it not like 6 hours or something like that?
6 hours. 6 hours, right? Of the camera moving down a chair. Every roughly 15 minutes, it moved to another chair. 6 hours. Just what a bizarre way of announcing or promoting. Do not get us wrong. Some of the announcements were exciting. I completely get that. But I just thought, what a strange way of doing it. And interestingly, I clicked on it a few times during the day. There were hundreds of thousands of people sat watching this.
Yep.
It's like, gee gods. I mean, that's content for you there. That's how we'll get word numbers up. Do you know what I mean? Just film a bloody chair for a day, see what happens. But yeah, I mean, £1.50. This has to be the worst executed movie reveal ever. it was interesting, Sean, because I did jump in and out. There was a lot of shite in the comments. A lot of people just saying random, ridiculous stuff. But there was a lot of anger in the comments as well. People saying, I'm sick of this. I'm not sticking around for this crap. And bailing. So it did ruffle feathers a little bit, I think. Anyway, that's by the by.
But
did you guys...
I kept going back. I'd seen one and I'd be like, now I'm fucking good. Now I want to check every 15 minutes because I'm like, fucking I need to find who's next. So it was shit, but something worked because there are thousands and thousands of people watching. And I find just kept going back in 50 minutes if I miss one. And then I'd rewind it and think, oh, fuck, I missed that one. I'm going to go back. So they did something.
So wait, hold on. This completely passed me by. So are we saying here that for 6 hours, they just panned a shot of different chairs?
Literally. Just went down chair by chair. That was it,
The end. So literally, literally it was a chair like that. After 15 minutes, it would move on to the next chair. 15 minutes, move on to the next chair, and it ended with Robert Downey Jr. standing.
Yeah, I seen that at the end. Watched the whole thing.
Watched the whole thing. So effectively, was you watching him watch the whole thing, Wayne?
Yeah.
So what was the big reveal then? What was...
So Andy. So whilst I don't want to say objection. Whilst I was irritated by the reveal because it was like, come on, man, just give it, you know. I have to say some of the stuff was interesting. I'm going to show you in a second the images of what they revealed yesterday, the names on the chairs. I want to know what you are excited about or what intrigues you. It's worth saying there's some notable admissions. So we didn't get a Chris Evans. People, I think, expected to get a Hugh Jackman, things like that, and we didn't get any of that. So some people immediately took to Twitter saying they were disappointed, blah, blah, blah. Robert Downey Jr. then posted something on Twitter saying something along the lines of, what a set of announcements. That's got to be it, right? Question mark.
They ran out of cheers.
Marvel Entertainment immediately responded and said something along the lines of, well, you would think, question mark. So there's more coming. They haven't announced everything. This isn't it. Do you know what I mean? So we'll get something else. But stuff that they did announce, that's a crammed image, but we've got 27 reveals, so 27 friggin' chairs in total. So we've got a whole range of characters that were probably expected. We've got Thor, we've got pretty much all of the Fantastic Four, a good chunk of the Thunderbolts, Black Panther coming back, Namor, that was an interesting one. I wasn't expecting to see him in there. Falcon from the last movie. The excitement factor for me, we've got Prof X and Ian McKellen coming back as, you know, Magneto. And then we've got Beast, we've got Nightcrawler, Mystique, Cyclops, a whole host of the original run of Fox X-Men. So, and Gambit, you know, who's become very, very popular, obviously. So some great announcements there. This could be a very busy movie with all these people in it. I suspect we're going to get not a great detail of a lot of these. It'll be kind of...
first 5 minutes. First 5 minutes, they'll press a button and they'll all die or something like that.
But, you know, a hell of a cast.
Wolverine's going to feature. I reckon Wolverine will feature. You don't think so?
No, I'm positive he's coming.
I think 100% it will, because like, if you look, like the majority of the main cast of X-Men's there, I think it just makes sense that he would feature. I still think what we're going to get is we're going to have Fantastic Four at the end. When we're calling it Secret Wars, we're not talking about the original Secret Wars. We're talking about the Hickman run with the incursions. I think Fantastic Four will end with Galactus in an incursion event, bringing the Fantastic Four to our reality or another reality where you've got the X-Men and then their world will end or whatever, or Doom will be trying to stop the worlds merging or something like that. Guys, that first time in a while I've been quite excited to get back into Marvel. Is that guy next to the Beast? Yeah.
Legend of the Gladiators. It's Falcon from the latest Captain America movie. What do you think? What here is got you kind of wow?
I'm very much like you, Pete. I'm excited about this. After the The Captain America movie, was it great? I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it in parts. This for me is obviously going to be the start of what state? What are we on now? Stage 5, set up 5, or whatever it is. I think this is they're either going to go big or go home, and I think it's what Andy said. It's literally going to be in the first 15 minutes. You're going to see everyone that's on the screen pop up, and that'll be it. Like they won't. It'll be like like they did in the Deadpool movie. They brought in all these characters and stuff like that, and then they kind of disbanded. I think it's pretty much going to be similar to this. I can't work out what way they're going with the story of this. Is it going to tie back to the comics, or is it going to go off and do its own thing? I'm interested in seeing Loki again, if I'm honest. I quite like Loki. I think Tom Hiddleston's great. So I'm excited about this. And the fact is, when I see the Twitter exchange, I was like, fucking hell, this is, it's got me, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
So this is for Secret Wars, is that right? Like I totally missed.
No, it's not. So this is, just before you come in, Andy, sorry to interrupt, put my grumpy old man pants back on. This is my niggle with all of this. Secret Wars needs to be your endgame level movie. That's the movie where I think you want all of these characters coming back. I want Nick Cage back as Ghost Rider. I feel like we're kind of doing this to death now. We have had it in Multiverse of Madness. We have had it in Deadpool. We're now going to have it in Doomsday as well. Mm-hmm. In Secret Wars, where in theory you should see all these variants of characters, is it going to have as big of an effect because you've already seen a lot of them back? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is Doomsday then?
This is Doomsday, yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'm kind of the opinion that you would rather not know at this point. I think the beauty of going to the cinema and then, the big reveals, when Captain America picked up the hammer and stuff like that, just those moments in cinematic history. I think we kind of lose a little bit of them when we know that we're because our expectation is always so much bigger and better than what the actual reality is. And then we're going to have all the trailers and stuff like that. So you're probably you'll have made up the movie in your head before you actually get there.
I absolutely agree with you, Andy. If I had my way, I wouldn't say anything about these movies going forward. But I think this is Marvel trying to get ahead of it and to generate some interest, because I think one of the things we've learned from Spider-Man and things like that is no matter how well they try to hide the secrets, it comes out. Do you know what I mean? And it's spoiled. I was devastated that I'd tried to avoid all the Multiverse of Madness news. And then I think 2 days before it came out, somebody put the entire bloody Illuminati scene all over the internet, and it was literally in your face. You couldn't avoid it,
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're in a world where spoilers and stuff are just almost impossible, sadly.
Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to it, though. I think it'll be good.
Sean's making a good point here. Do you think this might possibly spoil Thunderbolts, as in Who Survives? Absolutely, Sean. I've got again, shameless plug. Obviously, I've got a video coming out in a few weeks about Thunderbolts and about who the Sentry is and things like that. I think it's pretty clear who's going to die in Thunderbolts. I think that's been pretty much telegraphed, because they're not a popular character anyway in the real ambassador. The interesting thing about this lineup is we've got Sentry at the top there, who's meant to be the big bad guy of Thunderbolts. So obviously, well, something happens there and he's all right, unless this is a different variant, a different version. Excited to see the X-Men back.
Do you think the Thunderbolts will tie in any which way with the Daredevil series at the minute? With Kingpin and stuff like that, and the Thunderbolts. And
it would make sense, but they've kind of made them into a team that are fighting cosmic level bad guys. It doesn't feel very grounded anymore. Do you know what I mean? Which I think is a shame.
I honestly thought, and obviously we'll touch on Daredevil and stuff. If you're both up to date now on it?
No, I'm 2 episodes behind, but I don't mind you talking about it, obviously.
So obviously you've got the mention of Kamala Khan, who is obviously Miss Marvel. I would have thought she would have been in this, because I think there's going to be some tiebacks to Daredevil, because obviously in the latest episode he's wearing the black and red suit, which is what he wore in the comics when he killed Bullseye, and then that's when he becomes the leader of the Hand. So I thought you would have seen stuff into that, but maybe there's more stuff coming. Maybe that is it. Who knows? Okay. But yeah,
They did talk about that Kamala was in San Francisco.
Yes,
and that's obviously to recruit as part of the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
So do you remember at the end of Captain Marvel, we get the post-credit scene where she's assembling the champions.
Yes.
So she approaches, what do you call her? The Hawkeye. Is it Kate? Kate Bishop?
Okay,
she approaches Kate Bishop and people like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that's when we might see the first, or even a little scene with Miles Morales then?
Well, so again, talking rumours, there's a lot of noise from people who have been proven in the past to be correct to say that Tom Holland features in Doom as well, but they've not announced him yet, and he's very much involved with Miles Morales in another reality. So that might be how we'll bring Miles back.
That's interesting.
So buy your Champions books then.
Yeah. Oh, I think Champions books will. Yeah. Bit of comic news, guys. We talked a little bit about the Absolute Universe a little while ago. This is news that Bane is going to come to Absolute Batman. Latest issue of that. I don't know if you guys have read it.
Yep.
Very strong again. Very strong. I'm enjoying that series. Bane's got a whittle head, hasn't he? It's an interesting little head. Looking forward to that. We've had Absolute Flash out last week, which I know a couple of you have read. This week we've got Absolute Martian Manhunter. I'm hearing from Fuzzy that Manhunter was really good, so that's enough for us to go. I wasn't going to read it, but if Fuzzy says it's good, I'll go and pick it up. But I kind of wondered, either what DC hero do you want to see in their own title, or who do you want to see introduced? So we've got Bane being introduced. Is there another character you'd like to see introduced, or is there a property you'd like to see given the absolute treatment?
Lobo, 100%.
Absolute Lobo. That would be interesting.
That would be. Yeah. This comic got before you say yours, Andy. This comic, like I think was it something Graham Nolan kicked off, said this is an absolute abomination of what they've done to. Yeah. Because I was reading it today on Bleeding Cool, and it said Graham Nolan criticises the new Bane design in Absolute Batman, calling it a terrible abomination.
Do you know what? I think for me, I've had to almost switch my brain off to this series as being a Batman title, because it is cartoonish silly. The size of him and things like that, it looks ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? So if I've kind of separated this completely from everything I know about Batman, and just I'm going with it as being a cartoon caricature silliness.
Standalone sort of thing.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
I think one of the Lobo would have been my first choice. Definitely, I'm a massive Lobo fan, my favourite DC character. But I think a close second would be Deadman, an absolute Deadman series, because I don't think I'm speaking generally here, but I don't think Deadman is a widely used character. But I think he's a really important one, and I think his backstory is kind of up there with Joker, to be fair. So I would recommend Deadman, absolute Deadman. And Swamp Thing, Panels and a Half Pints is Swamp Thing. That'd be another good one as well.
An absolute Swamp Thing would be absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. Fuzzy's saying here, the creator of any character will complain if people mess around with them, though, I guess.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm loving the Absolute Universe. I think Wonder Woman, as we've said, is my favourite. I would very much like to see what you call them? My brain's gone blank. Sorry, Andy, were you about to say something?
No, I was going to say, I do love it when people are quite upset and frustrated with make-believe characters, when somebody changes that make-believe character, goes, no, that you can't do that. You can't, you can't do that to the character. That's the whole point of comics at the end of the day, is that you take these characters in different, adventures and make them different styles, because that's the beauty of it. But and I guess the best character to do that with at this point is Batman, because what it's been done and done to death. You know what I mean?
But the comments that Graham Nolan made on this Bane thing, 2.1 million views. It got 2.1 million views, sparking debates and reactions online. And he's calling. He challenges fans to buy Absolute Batman to support the artist instead of reacting online to his opinion. So he's slagging it off.
It sounds like an advert for DC, to be fair.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. But
very strange.
I think it's great.
Very strange. Yeah, loving it. We mentioned briefly there Daredevil, I'm not up to date with the latest 2 episodes, but we got introduced to Muse in the last episode. The last episode I saw had... I'm still not 100% sold on it, but I've heard that the latest 2 episodes are spot on. I thought the interaction between Daredevil and Punisher was absolutely phenomenal. I loved that scene. So guys, last 2 episodes, am I going to enjoy them?
I would say, I think it's the episode 7 or whatever it is, the last one. There's a scene in it where I don't want to tell you, but there's a scene and it happens parallel, and it was fucking awesome. I thought it was so good. Like the way that they done it, the way that Matt Murdock done it, and the way that Fisk kind of done it. The environment that they kind of set up was amazing. The way that they had a fight was amazing, and the similarities between them that you didn't actually realise they had was fucking awesome. The way they done it was wicked. Episode like the latest one was good. Episode 6 was very much a filler, as Fuzzy said, but the last one was great. Like really, like the way it ended, it was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
We're seeing him in costume, did you say? Black costume?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. You still enjoying it, Andy?
So, I do recall that this was going to be like 23, 26 episodes long at some point. And I think we're down to 13 in total it's going to be.
Yeah, because they cut loads,
Yeah, but I can't imagine what they've cut, because I found the 6 episodes now. You'll know my story, as I said in our private chat, about missing episode 5 and just watching episode 6 like an idiot. But I found it incredibly slow at times. Like we're at episode 6 now, and it feels like this could have been the starting point. At this stage, you know. Yeah,
I kind of felt that with a lot of the Netflix stuff. It felt quite drawn out. But I think for me, Fuzzy's got it. Yeah, there's some real issues with this. It's as if it can't decide what direction it wants to go in. We know that this was cut to shreds at the cutting room.
Yeah,
the original version of this was all courtroom drama, and then Feige came back and said, absolutely not, we need battles and stuff. I am enjoying it, but there are absolutely times when I'm watching it where I think it really does feel like it's been cut up and bits have been inserted in, you know, at random points and stuff. Yeah. So interesting. Couple of comments. Fuzzy's confirmed it's 9 episodes, we think. Episode 5 was a filler, but at least it was fun. 6 was way better. Some cack CGI. Oh, I have issues with CGI. I loved 1 to 3. 4 was utter shite. Terry, it's been a soap opera up to that last episode you talked about, but I've not seen that one yet. So yeah, keep going with it. I'm looking forward to watching the 2 episodes tonight, and I'll let you know
It's funny you mentioned CGI, because there was a few instances in the last episode there when I was like, oh, like, and I know that you're a stickler when it comes to CGI, Peter, and I kind of don't really notice it, but I really noticed it. And
it stands out like a sore thumb for me, and I don't know why, because I should be able to just switch my brain off. But you know, episode 1. I enjoyed, but there's a bit where he's jumping up to the roof and swinging, and it looked awful.
Well, it's the same in this one. So he puts his suit back on again. He's like, "Oh fuck it," and you can really note like, "Whoa!" Like it is, yeah.
The best bit about it is like there's 3 characters that have been born again, as it were. You know, you're getting Wilson Fisk born again because he's eating loads again. He started eating salads and all the rest of it. He can't fit in his suit. You've got Daredevil been born again or regenerated again, and then you've got New York that kind of plays a bit of a character that's been born again. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Von Hood saying he thinks second season will be much better now that they've got a solid showrunner. We're already seeing, aren't we, some clips from some season 2, and it looks great. It looks interesting. Battlefield Earth CGI. Yeah. Speaking of battling, we've got Battle Beast. I just wanted to mention this. So this is a spin-off of Invincible. You know I'm a fan of Invincible. The TV show at the moment is freaking phenomenal.
I've got 3 episodes.
Mate, the last couple of episodes. Oh God, you've got some of the best episodes. Then we'll have to talk about it next time we're on the show, because
I haven't watched a single Invincible episode.
Andy, if you do anything over these next, I don't know, couple of weeks, just give it a watch.
Are you aware of Invincible, but Andy? Because yeah. I guess what I mean by that is my son had never watched this or heard of Invincible, so I sat there with him, knowing kind of some of the things that were about to happen. Yeah. it's a bit like we've just described with Daredevil, to be honest. It's a slow burn at times, Invincible. It focuses a lot on character conversations and stuff. But anyway, this is Battle Beast 1 coming out. Sold 400,000 copies already. There's a blind bag variant. Do you know what I said on the show the other night? I thought I bought 5 copies or something. I haven't bought 10. Bought 10 friggin' bags, so I don't know what I've done there. So we've got them, yeah. But guys, this got us thinking, and I haven't prepped you guys for this question. But regrets, I've had a few. I had Invincible issue number 1, CGC 9.6, signed by Robert Kirkman. Back when nobody gave a flying fuck about Invincible apart from me. The cartoon came out and the prices rocketed a bit. So I sold it, and it's now got to a point where there's no way in hell I can afford to get that comic again. You're looking for a modern key, 9.6 or a 9.8 of Invincible. Yeah, I'm saying I'm not going to get it. I've got a copy, but I haven't got a nice copy. Do you know what I mean? A 9.6 or a 9.8, you're looking at $2,000. You know, it's a big boy book, and I absolutely regret selling that comic. And it made us think, is there anything that you guys have let go, sold, binned, whatever, that in hindsight you look back on now and you think, shit, you know, either for financial reasons, because actually it's gone up in value, or just because I've sold stuff and then, like my first appearance of Loki, I've sold that and then thought, actually, why the hell have I done that? I want that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Right, so I've got two things that this has happened. So I remember I was in a comic book shop, an oversized...
Sorry, just to interrupt you there for a second, Charlie. I went to remove the slide and I actually removed you. So you won't have noticed, but you vanished there for a second. So I apologize.
I was invincible. There we go. But I don't know if it was worth much or anything, but I picked up the oversized book of Muhammad Ali fighting Superman in the ring.
Oh, it's a lovely cover.
Right. Picked it up and was like, I like this. And I have no reason, I can't understand why. I put it back in the box, went outside onto the phone, didn't go back into the comic shop. Right. And it was only when I was visiting there again, I was like, fuck, I'm going to go. It was gone. It was gone. So I don't know if it was worth anything. Then when I kind of started doing Geeky Guy comics, I was massively on the Facebook marketplaces, so picking up these comics and thinking I'm going to get that. I got a really good deal on the Spider-Man comic where he's taking off, one of them's taking off the mask or whatever it is. I can't remember what one it is. And he's splitting the mask.
Hobgoblin.
Yeah, so he's splitting that. Yeah, so I had all 3 issues that lead up to that. I don't know what issues they are, but they're all 3 of them in a run. Yeah. And I honestly think I sold them on Facebook Marketplace for about 60 quid for all 3 of them. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have a clue, and I was like, if I buy that, I can buy fucking Funko Pops that can just sit in my loft for like fucking 2 years and do nothing. And I wish I'd kept hold of that comic, because I look at the prices now and I'm like, fucking hell, like, it's silly. It's not mega money, but it's like, if I'd kept hold of them.
It's interesting, your first comment there about the Muhammad Ali comic. I do this every time when I go to a Comic Con. I have this mental thing where I don't want to buy anything until I've done a full loop. In case there's like something golden at the end and I've spent my money. Yeah. But quite often, what often happens is in the first aisle I'll see something and I think, oh, I love that. I'm going to get that. I go around, come back, and it's fucking gone. So I need to get better at that as well, you know, because you leave stuff on the shelf quite often, don't you?
Yeah.
What about you, Andy?
Do you know, as you brought the subject up, I was racking my brain trying to think. And I honestly, hand on heart, don't think there's anything that I've regretted selling when it comes to my collection, whether it be comics or otherwise. Yeah. I think from my perspective, I'm always a big advocate of letting the hobby pay for itself. So you get to a point where you get to understand the real time when to sell something. And certainly not when something becomes popular, that's not the time to pick it up. It's when you look at everything else that everybody else isn't looking at and you pick that up. And it just kind of evolves and revolves around that sort of thing, which is maybe a good discussion to have at some point when the right time to sell is. But I honestly can't think of anything. And whenever I do buy stuff, it's a typical Scotsman in me. I try to buy it at the best price I possibly can. And I don't buy anything that I think is going to lose value. Yeah. If that makes sense. So I always have that thought in the back of my head.
So it's interesting, Andy. I've recently had a experience. I talked on my members only live show about it. But do you guys remember the Eagle Moss DC graphic novel collection, or the Marvel Heroes graphic novel collection?
Yeah.
One of these things where you pay monthly and you get a book sent through the post.
Yeah.
I did that for years when I first
spine.
got back into comics. Yeah, just the same spine art all the way through. £10 a book. And then I came to the realization about 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was nearly 600 books or something, £10 a book, £10 a book, sat on the shelf doing fuck all. Never looked at them again. So then thought, well, I'll see how much they're worth, kind of thing. Prices, no way in hell you're getting a 10-hour book. You're getting on eBay maximum, say, £3 a book or something like that, if you sell them individually and people cherry pick. And I thought, you know what, I cannot be arsed to do that.
They were so mass produced, those things.
Oh,
as well,
ridiculous. So I ended up selling them, and I got an okay price, but I got nowhere near. I have to speak quietly so the wife doesn't hear. I got nowhere near what I'd actually paid out for them. So I thought, you know, that's a great example of just, I didn't even want, I got into the habit of collecting them for the spine art, and it was just easy to buy them, you know? So yeah,
but it's an interesting point, because like, at what point do you draw the line and go, like you have, you know what, do you look at it as if you've made a loss? Because, or do you look at it like, okay, well, I guess in your case, you probably didn't enjoy them if they were just sitting kind of getting unread. But that's an interesting question to ask, is like, at what point do you just draw the line and take the loss and take the hit? Because I'm sure during COVID and stuff like that, people were buying stuff at stupid prices thinking it was going to keep rising.
Absolutely.
That clearly hasn't happened, of all dip. So,
yeah. No, I think COVID escalated prices ridiculously, didn't it, for a lot. Von Hoot saying, I sold a bunch of spare Transformers. I had doubles for £50 to buy some wrestling VHS tapes. Oh, yeah. Anything, spending money on wrestling's always a bad mistake, mate. C4 Darkman, there's some collectible games I got into that I regret buying into, as I didn't play some of them much, and they became meaningless. With a comic, at least I can reread it. Yeah, I've done that as well before, mate.
But do you not think that's an interesting point, like the point of buying something? Because what I found over the last sort of 12 months is that realization that when I'm buying a comic, a good majority of them I'm not reading. I'm actually just putting them in a box. What are you doing?
So I think I messaged you, Andy. I've been trying, since I sold all those books, it's freed up shelf space, so I've started shifting stuff around. I've got now an entire bookshelf of omnibuses and trade paperbacks that I'm just never going to have time to read, and they're just there. It's literally what I call my retirement plan, because I think at some point I'll sit and read them, but that's years down the line, you know. So I would hate to tottle up the money that's sat there just waiting, you know. Von Hoot, don't buy anything that loses value, says the comic book show. Chris, nice to see you, Chris. I've never lost. I've paid to have things for a time. I rented joy, if you will. That is a fantastic attitude to have, Chris. And I agree, mate. I agree. I think that's a great attitude to have. Okay, guys. Last bit of the news segment. Sorry, I know we've taken a while. Last bit of the news segment is we're talking a little bit about trailers. We've got...
The Discord is fucking out, I don't know.
We've got this trailer. This was Final Destination. If you can't make it out to this...
Sorry, Peter. Can I just jump in for a wee second?
Of course you can, Andy. Of course you can.
So, I messaged the guys to say, guys, so what's the news that we're going to be talking about? Just so, you know, I can prep and at least have something, you know, thoughtful to say, which is unlike me, I know. So I looked up the slides, and this was the slide that I saw, guys. This, having not watched the trailer or anything like that, this is what I saw, and I was like, no, I just gave up at that point. I closed my phone off, and I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to wing it.
I'd seen the fucking trailer, and I still didn't get this. Just a weird thing.
So I've picked this image because for me this was the worst part of the trailer. So for those of you that haven't seen it, this is Final Destination Bloodlines. New trailer is out. There was a teaser trailer a few weeks ago which was about a tattoo parlor. This is a full trailer, and it kind of gives you a lot more background. There's a scene where a guy who's making drinks drops a glass and it shatters, and the ice sorry, the glass shards, some of them get mixed in with the glass, and then you see that shard of glass there next to the lemon goes into someone's drinking cup, and that for me, this is what I love about Final Destination. It's because I've told you guys before, particularly when my kids were younger, I'm a chronic overthinker, always have been. With everything I do, I'm an overthinker. So if I took the kids to the park and they were on the swings, I'm looking around and I'm working, oh God, if that falls off, that's going to hit this, that's going to, you know, and I'm catastrophizing all the time, always have. Final Destination is like all of my fears rolled into one, you know, and I love it. I love watching the story, because the trailer shows you this could be such a great scene of him drinking a bit of glass, but it doesn't pan out that way. It always keeps, you know.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I found out that I forgot to tell you. This is the second most watched horror trailer of all time, 178 million plus global views. Wow. And the fact is that the first film came out 15 years ago, and this one has grossed. I think it was released in 66 countries at 44 different times, 178 million plus views.
Wow, it's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible.
And the fact is that this ties back to Final Destination 2. Yeah,
the very start. I think this is going to be amazing. Now, Charlie, I know you're a big horror fan, and I know you'll be excited for this. Andy, not so sure of you. Now, you've seen the trailer. What did you think of it?
I thought it was great. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Not a massive horror fan. Quite squeamish, if the truth be told. And this definitely isn't a movie franchise that you can watch when you're squeamish. Because there was some parts where you kind of the way that this was done was in the way that your imagination was a lot worse than the reality of what was happening, which I think is fantastic. So I can't wait for this to come out. I think it looks great.
Yeah. And Charlie, what about yourself?
I can't. I was, when they released the teaser trailer, I was like, and again they gave you hints of what was going to happen, and it didn't in the teaser trailer. And then obviously when he plays the music and stuff like that, and it all kicks off, and it was just wicked. This for me though,
I did it again. Take me off control of the freaking buttons, man. I can't do it.
Do you know this doesn't happen on One Good Scare?
No, because I'm scared of James Teagan. Shout at
James Teagan?
I can't even know his name. Sorry, Charlie, I interrupted you.
It's all right, mate. It's
not all right. It's not all right. You can see his face. It's not all right.
It was, I think, because there was 4 or 5 things going on in that trailer that you thought, is it going to be the barbecue? Is it going to be the trampoline? Is it going to be what? You didn't know what the fuck was going to go wrong, and it was just wicked. And I think the fact that it ties back to the family, like his blood thicker than water, as the bloodline, it's fucking wicked. I cannot wait. I cannot.
Absolutely. That's my love of this franchise, in that it always leads you down a path. Yes. And then something happens left field. Because I think, if I'm being honest, I watch a lot of horror these days. A large proportion of it is very predictable. You kind of what's going to happen. So anything that kind of surprises you is win.
The horror film that I watched and absolutely loved, and I told you about, Hereditary. No, was it? No, Heretic. Is it Heretic?
Heretic. Hugh Grant. Heretic.
Hugh Grant was also. Have you seen it, Andy?
I have no idea.
Great film.
Andy. I'm not even entirely sure I understood what the name of the film was.
Heretical.
Is that not a font?
Anyway, I've just and Peppa Pig's joined the room. I've just been messaged by James Breen from Slab Crusaders. Said that we want to do a giveaway. I suggest. So what we're going to do is there's 2 comics being given away. So the first one is this one here. This is the Mark Spears red variant.
Love a bit of Mark Spears. Love a bit of Mark Spears.
It's a 1 in 10. It's a 1 in 10.
And that's for the first winner. But then the second winner could win this one. Jay Anacleto.
Oh, that's nice as well.
This one. Yeah. So what we'll do is I have, by the powers invested in me, I have put people's names into the dodgy wheel of spinning misfortune, which we'll go to now.
Hashtag thing, surely, no? Just like a wee hashtag.
Have we got time to do that? I've just put everyone's names that's in the chat.
You should put the names in the chat. That works as well.
There we go. So right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll just sort it 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'll spin the wheel. So who wins the 1 in 10?
Spin the wheel of justice. Where it ends the body. Darkmean, he won my competition on Tuesday. Well done, Darkmean, sorry. Super.
So Darkmean, you have won the Mark Spears red one. Okay, so what we'll do now, I'll shuffle it another 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is for the Jay and the Cleto black and white one.
Peter, our names aren't on that. Did you notice?
I noticed that. Shocking behaviour. Sean,
go Sean. You've won that as well.
Sean doesn't like comics anymore.
I know he doesn't. So there we go. So massive shout out to James from Slab Crusaders. Thanks for doing that. If you drop him a message on Instagram or Facebook, I'm sure he'll get that out to you when they're released. So yeah, impromptu giveaway. Why not?
Superb. Thank you very much for that, James. We do appreciate it, I'm sure.
Has anyone got any pickups?
I've got.
I swear, if you'd fucking knock me out, if you'd
got rid of me, I moved you because I couldn't cope with being. That's the prime spot, you see, Charlie. You are in command, so yeah. No,
am I really? I'm in command. Okay, yeah. Cool. Oh, there we go. Anyway, mate. So it's
kids, settle down.
Hang on. Who'd you message?
Slabbed Crusader.
Slab Crusaders on Facebook. Peter drop you a message, and then
yeah, mate. Just drop me a message, and I'll put you in touch.
Nice one. There we go. So, Andy, have you got any pickups, darling? No. So what?
No, sweet baby Jesus. I've got.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh, I bet Charlie's got a big stack of his Magic Pound comics.
I haven't. Go on, I'll go first. Right, and these fucking wankers.
Oh, I got an AF-15 for £1.
Oh. No, I didn't. I ended up picking up. I went back to my guy, the guy. These ones, these were pretty cool. I went back and got them. Okay. So I got that one. There you go. Mary Jane is still.
My guy. Sorry. It's nice. I like that one.
Mary Jane
is that G. Scott Campbell?
Of course. Mary Jane is Captain America.
Nice.
And then I've got Mary Jane as Iron Man.
If you want to see some of my pickups, you could go to Triple G's channel where we had a pickup show on Tuesday.
Pickup.
Oh, nice. Cool. This one.
That's the. I can't believe you got that for 50p.
Like, it was £1. It was £1. Or was it £1? I can't remember. What the fuck it was.
That's a very, very expensive book.
I didn't. I was like, what the fuck is it? And I messaged you saying,
yeah.
And
I told you the character's name. You went, what?
No clue. Didn't have a clue. Then I got another one of them, Jean Grey, and then that one to go with it.
These are all the store exclusives as well, as far as I'm.
Mate, honestly, I mean that's £24 on its own, and that was £62.50.
And you got it for £1.
I got it for £1. And honestly, I picked up one of the BCW boxes for, I think it was like a £5 or a £10.
Right, I'm so jealous. Peter, could you throw me out of on screen because I've had enough of this? I can't do it.
But yeah, that's it. I don't think there's any left for me to go back. But go on, Pete. What did you get, mate?
You got some good stuff from them, but didn't you? You got some.
Yes, I did.
I ended up on Whatnot again for a good friend Tim. I know he said Tim the Toolman. Tim
the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah.
What a show!
Great show. 100 bring it back.
Yeah. So, and I don't know why. I do just buy stuff. So I think I did a show a little while ago with my good pal Efren, and we're talking about a James Tynion book called Christopher Chaos. Any of you guys heard of Christopher Chaos?
No.
I don't think I had either. Anyway, Tim was selling these stunning covers, and I thought, oh, I'll give that a go, because I loved the look of the cover. I'd been talking about Christopher Case. I'd never read any of the books about him. Couldn't tell you anything about the story. I think it's a bit like a Harry Potter kind of thing. Let us know in the chat if anybody knows what the hell Christopher Case is. So anyway, I bought that one. Just I did. I then got this first issue of this. This is Razor Blades. This is an anthology.
Yeah,
I've got the trade paperback of this, but it's by a whole host of different people, isn't it? I loved the cover work. Tinian's got some stories in here, I believe. So yeah, I thought I'd get that and see what it's like. But the reason I picked those was because, do you know, as you do on Whatnot, you buy a book and then that gives you free postage, so you just kind of buy stuff. The book I went for, and Von Hoot, if you're in the chat, help us out with this. I'm a big fan of a Garth Ennis series. I think we might have talked about it on the show, called The Ribbon Queen. You guys remember that?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
So this is a convention exclusive to the Ribbon Queen #1, signed by Garth Ennis, and also signed by, I can't do names, Gelmo Ortego. Fucking hell, man, I don't know.
Gelmo.
No, I don't know if I don't know if he's the artist or the inker. So Von Hoot, I think you've picked up some copies of this. Let us know. Is Gelmo Ortego, is he the inker or the artist? But yeah, so this is double signed.
I bet his real name's Phil.
Bill. It's Bill.
Guys,
Bill.
why don't we have 1,000 subscribers?
Oh, God. Because we have a fucking laugh, that's why.
Look at that cover. Sexy as out. Tremendous series. Recommend people read that. So yeah, double signed. Had to get it.
I've never seen you more excited about a comic, Pete. I
just loved that series. It blew my mind.
We can tell.
I know Cliff loves Christopher Chaos. Oh, Cliff on Comics. Nice. It's my nickname in town. Well, it's one I use. Everyone else got. Sorry, Charlie, I've just taken over your comments. You click these away.
It's fine, mate. What
I'll do, I read Christopher Case for several issues. Miles too slow, personally. Oh, shame. I don't know what it is. Is it a fantasy?
I've never heard of it.
He's the inker. I thought he was the inker. He was at Thought Bubble last year, I think.
I
seem to remember. Yeah. Good old. Yeah. There we go.
Well, anyway, on that bombshell, that's another show done. You've put up with us for another hour and 20 minutes. It's your second treat. Amazing. Pete, how many shows you got lined up for the rest of this week?
19 tonight.
Wow.
I've got a video coming out on Friday, which is my favourite Superman story, so Andy will like that one. And then my live show next Tuesday, was supposed to be my toy show, but I might do a bit of toy show and do some stuff about WonderCon, because Efren's been to WonderCon, so we might talk about that, and we might talk more about some of the casting for Doomsday and things like that.
Nice. We will be back in, a couple of weeks?
We'll
be back in April. Yeah, 10th of April. We'll be back on the 10th of April for more calamity, carnage.
Professionalism,
yes, professionalism. But guys, thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to James from Slack Crusaders for doing the impromptu giveaway. Congratulations to C4 and Panels and Pints. As I mentioned, reach out to James or Pete or myself or Andy, and we'll put you in contact with James. Thank you very much, sir. Great show, lads. Always makes sorting through a weekly delivery more enjoyable. Great. We shall see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy your weekend, and sayonara.
Ta-ra. Bye.
See you.
Bye to bye.